Is this thing working? Welcome. Hi, everybody. If you had a chance to join me live, I am so happy that's the case. But if not, hopefully you'll watch this later. This is your forecast for the full moon from your friend Jennifer from Cincinnati. So, full moon coming on Saturday, just so you know, and it'll be here Saturday morning around 7:30 a.m. East Coast time. Full moon is occurring in the sign of Virgo because Virgo stands opposite in the sky of the sun, which is in Pisces. So imagine if this is the sky and you got the sun in one place, then the moon is exactly opposite of that place in the sky. And that moon's energy is pulling on us. As we know, everybody gets a little crazy during the full moon. That's kind of a normal thing, and that's because of the gravitational force of that moon pulling on us the same way that it pulls the ocean tides in coastal regions. You've heard me talk about that before, how that can happen. So think about the Farmer's Almanac and the ways that that full moon can pull the water up through the dirt into the top of the water table. That helps to make the seeds that get planted higher in the ground that need that water table pulled up. Those are the seeds that we plant during those times, and that is just what the almanac is based off of. So people for hundreds of years have used those planting tables because they understood that water is moving even in the ground. So at a full moon, it moves up higher in the water table in the ground, and on a new moon, it drops down lower. So things that get rooted really low, they're going to be the things that get planted during a new moon time. So, but back to full moon. We have this thing coming, and it is in the sign of Virgo. So if you know any Virgos, what are some themes of Virgo? So it is somebody who is very organized, has all their stuff together. They can be very meticulous about things. They can also be kind of nitpicky. It can be nervous energy. Virgos that I know tend to suffer from some form of anxiety. You know, they worry a lot. They're worriers just by nature. And I can say that myself because I'm a bit of a worrier too. I do have some Virgo energy in my chart. So this is the first time I've done a live stream, and I'm trying to figure out where do I look at, what part of the camera. Welcome to my online studio, which is one of my kids in college is their bedroom that's become mom's office. So welcome. This is also known as Savannah's room. So if Savannah, you watch at some point, I hope I do you justice, girl. Anyway, so back to the full moon, though, I've got some notes about it that might help you during the full moon. We have, let's see, I actually have three things I want to talk about, not just the full moon, that I think will be helpful to you. Here we go. So here's what I have. The moon highlights themes related to refinement, wellness, and service. Virgo is ruled by the planet Mercury. Mercury rules our mental body and the way we think and communicate and our intellect. So that moon is going to, trigger that. It's going to trigger deeper thoughts. You might find yourself more thoughtful and more focused in the way that you think this weekend. You know, you may be trying to get things, or you might be doing your taxes. You know, it's tax season, trying to get your desk organized, trying to get stuff filed away, trying to get your receipts, trying to get ready for, doing your taxes. Virgo, our full moon in Virgo also encourages analytical thinking, problem solving. It has a desire to make sense of complex situations. So, Virgos that I know have a really nice way of taking something that is very broad and complex and hard to think about and know, and bring it down into something that is easier. You know, bring it down into something that's practical and has a step-by-step plan. So we take something that's a little intangible and then bring it into the tangible, something that we can do with it every day. Virgo energy is an attention to detail. So you may find that there's some questions around details and practicality this weekend. Virgo is known for being meticulous, and there's a heightened awareness of focusing on being precise or having precision about things, and being more organized. So it could be that you're cleaning out the cupboards. It could be you're organizing the spice rack. It could be, you are getting rid of old DVDs and movies and CDs because we've all gone digital now and we're streaming. And you say, okay, I had all these things put in a certain way, but now it's time to let that go. So find what it is that you are attempting to organize this weekend, and find that you will be very productive at it. You are going to be able to get those things done. So I am hopeful that that happens for you, as this energy is heightened. So, attention to detail. Another thing that comes with full moon in Virgo is analytical thinking, um, problem solving, making the more complex come into more mundane, and things that we can actually tackle and get done. And another third thing that the full moon in Virgo can bring is attention to helping others. You may find that you need to put some of your own stuff aside and actually go and give a helping hand. Maybe it's going to help your parents. Maybe it's going to help an elderly aunt or uncle. You may feel called to be of service this weekend. Doesn't have to be just volunteering, which it can be, that you decide that you want to reach out and go to the local food pantry, or go to an organization where you can help. You might just be a helper within your circle. Maybe it's helping somebody move. Maybe it's helping somebody to go to the grocery store, helping somebody else to clean out their cupboards or their garage. Finding yourself being a little more helpful, or other people coming to be helpful to you. And don't say no. Take that help if it is offered. We may find further acts of kindness, people offering support to those in need. Another thing that comes with Virgo, a fourth thing, is health and well being. Virgos are very concerned about being healthy, about taking supplements, about eating the right foods, doing the right exercises, doing the things that take care of our body, right? And so you will maybe have some ideas about that this weekend. You might notice where, all of a sudden you're like, vacation time is coming. It's going to be June, July, and August soon. And we look down and say, maybe I've gained a few pounds and it is time to get back on the treadmill or the elliptical, or take the dog out for a walk, or get yourself a Fitbit and starting to count your steps and make sure that you are getting all your steps in. So you just might notice health and well-being topics come up for you or for someone in your circle. So how can you support that? How can you help that process? We're all good helpers when we've got Virgo energy coming in. And that can be wonderful, but there is a downside to being a good helper. You can also become too much of a helper. In other words, being a little too critical or a little too nitpicky. And that is the shadow or the low side that we have to watch, of making sure that we are not overdoing it, overstaying our welcome, or being too critical of others. So make sure that if you're going to give criticism, one, that it's wanted, two, that it's constructive, three, that it's nice and that it's kind. So in school, we had a little board that said, thinking of all the ways, before we speak. This weekend is a time to do that. Make sure that you don't speak out of turn and say something that you really didn't mean to say. You really didn't mean to hurt that person's feelings. You were just trying to help make it better, right? Because that's what Virgo energy is. It's a refinement, in my world. So I have Virgo. I'm a Leo sun. Obviously, I can make a video, but in my world, I am a Mars and a Venus and a Mercury in Virgo. So I have that strong, it's called a stellium, where you have a concentration of Virgo, and it can make us a little nitpicky. It can make us, like I talked about, a little anxious and a little nervous. but we're always trying to make things better. And so sometimes we stick our foot in our mouth trying to make things better, right? So just watch for where that happens and make sure that you show other people compassion and kindness and make sure they want the criticism, first of all. So that's one part of the Virgo criticism. The other part is that we direct it at ourselves, right? We can make it so that we are very self-critical and we can become angry at ourselves for not doing all the things in the way that we think that we should. So I give this example like, when I have a plan for something, it can be very long and complicated. It can be a 20-step plan, right? And then I get angry at myself because I did, 19 of the steps and didn't make 20. And I really wanted to make 25 steps. And my husband is like, Jen, everybody else has a 3-step plan. You have a 20-step plan. Come on now, don't be so hard on yourself. And that's what I'm going to say to you. Come on, don't be so hard on yourself. During this time that things don't go exactly according to plan and that you didn't do things exactly like the 20 steps that you had hoped you'd put in place. That can come with Virgo self-criticism, and we can be mean to ourselves. I had a very fine teacher who told me once that if you carry Virgo energy, you need to look that person in the mirror and say, no more. Stop picking at me. Stop being mean to me. You have to protect, almost separate that side of your personality outside of yourself and say, no, I'm not going to allow this nitpicky criticism to hurt the person that I am, because I am doing my best and I'm trying to be my best here. But there's this little side of me that always thinks that it's never enough and it's not good enough and it's no good. And you have to stop that stuff. You have to do psychology on yourself and say, no more Virgo energy. I'm not going to let that happen. And if you're wondering if you have Virgo, you're like, oh my gosh, I have Virgo in my chart somewhere. I have a video on YouTube. It's an older one that tells you how to run your chart. You can go out to a website called astrodance.com. And they have some nice, there's also one called AstroSeek, but there are 2 AstroSeeks and one's kind of weird. But anyway, if you find the right one, then you can run your chart and they're for free. So if you're looking for that or you can't find that after you watch this video, go find me on social media. My handle is Magical Life Astrology. You can find me at magicallifeastrology.com. But on Instagram and on Facebook and Threads and TikTok, I am Magical Life Astrology. So go find me out there and send me a message, and I will send you the information about how to find your chart, whether you're watching this video today on February 22nd, 2024, or it is out there and you're watching this in 2025, because there is that Virgo side of me that wants to be helpful. And that is true. That's what lives in my heart. And that's why I do astrology. And that's why I'm doing these forecasts, because I truly want to help you, right? I want to help you be able to live your best life and use this energy, because knowing what the energy is, it's just as important as knowing what the weather is. So for instance, today here in Cincinnati, it is raining outside. I have windows over to my left, and it is a cloudy, rainy day. But energetically, it is a different kind of day. We actually have the moon is in Leo right now, which is probably why I have the kick up in energy and juice to come out here and do this video for you. So Leo moon is big and it's bright and it's bold, and it gives us an extra little power pack to be able to get stuff done. It can also be too much. So notice today on the 22nd and some tomorrow on the 23rd where things get to be too much. And that's why it's important also to know about the full moon, or I'm sorry, the moon cycle. The moon moves every 2.5 days from signs, and it goes from the first sign, all it works its way in the same order every time, all the way up to the 12th sign, Pisces. So right now we are in Leo. And then By Friday, we're moving into Virgo. And then on Saturday morning, that moon is still in Virgo. On Sunday, it'll be in Virgo. So we're having a Virgo weekend, right? That moon is in Virgo. And then, of course, we have the full moon. So Virgo energy is going to take over this weekend. And it's going to be, this full moon is going to be big, bold, and bright, shining on those places. We need to be more meticulous and organized and help others and get refined and take care of things, taking care of business. Another image that might help you with the full moon, and this one being the juxtaposition of Pisces sun being opposite in the sky with the Virgo moon, is that it's kind of like a camera coming in and out of focus. Okay. So Pisces sun is this bigger panoramic view. It's like the bird's eye view, the eagle, being able to see everything, dreaming all the dreams and all the realms and all the levels of consciousness. And then you've got Virgo down here fine tuning that camera lens, saying, no, we need to go to the specific. We need to take all this stuff that's magical and mystical and bring it down to earth. We need to bring it down into the now and make it practical. We need to be able to make a to-do list. And that can be helpful, right? So think about what's swimming inside of you in a mystical, magical, dreamy kind of way. What are those dreams and wishes that you have? And how can you bring those down into something tangible, something that you can actually work with? So maybe you can't do all the things you want to do, but maybe you can do one thing you want to do. That's what this full moon can bring you. So the full moon also has an aspect. Jupiter, there's a square. I think it's Venus is squaring Jupiter. And if you don't know astrology, that doesn't matter. But what that's bringing is kind of a big energy, a growing energy, an abundant energy. So it makes the moon more positive. It brings that Venusian kind of loveliness to it, a femininity, kind of a soft quality to the moon. But those two are in a square, and a square can be a kind of like knocking your knee on the table. So think of a 90-degree. That's what the aspect is. If you know a little astrology, they're knocking their knee on the table, and so it wakes us up a little bit. So notice where there's extra, where there's abundance, where there's something that's kind of growing and it's healthy and it's bright and it's big, but then there's just a little punch that comes with it, so you might notice that in going too far. Venus can be, or I'm sorry, Venus and Jupiter square Jupiter can be too much indulgence, drinking too much, eating too much, talking too much, going too far, taking it past the limit of where it needed to go. So I think the real lesson here is about moderation. Moderation in all things during the full moon. Oh, and it looks like somebody maybe joined us. So welcome if you did. I am doing this little forecast live, but it'll be a recording on my channel later. So you can watch the whole thing later, full moon forecast. And so you might find yourself trying to figure out, where do I need to not indulge too much, and I need to come back down to earth and make what's intangible, that's too big and too lofty, into something more practical. That's how you can use this full moon energy. So the next step, two other things I wanted to tell you about is this week we have had Venus and Mars holding hands in the sky. So Venus and Mars together is, they are in the sign of Aquarius. And so they are bringing Aquarius energy into our personal planets right now, which is really cool because we had Pluto move into Aquarius. If you've not heard this, have you been under a rock? Because everybody's talking about Pluto moving into Aquarius and being there for the next 20 years. And Pluto in Aquarius is going to give us big shifts in consciousness. It is bringing in this communal, community type of energy, a revolutionary kind of energy. Technology is going to be big, lots of inventions coming in, but also this eccentric kind of outside the box, beating to your own drum kind of energy is what you're going to find when you have Pluto in Aquarius. And so these other planets, Mars and Venus, so Mars is the planet of forward motion. It is our gas pedal, and it's where we hit the gas, and it's where we are competitive and assertive and aggressive. So Mars is in Aquarius right now. So he's assertive and aggressive and hitting the gas pedal, and doing things in an eccentric and unique and weird kind of way. Okay. Well, then we have Venus, the planet of our love and our passion and the things we love and the things we want, and our work as well, our ways we get money. So, probably your job, the way that you get the things that you want can be affected. Okay. And notice if new things are coming in at work. Are they bringing in new technology? Are they, do you notice, new routines, new systems? Things that you never could imagine, and maybe are frankly just a pain right now because you got used to the old way. Why would you want this new way of doing things? So new ways are coming in Venus, and new ways are coming in how we assert ourselves. And I like to think of Venus and Mars just as feminine and masculine. Okay, and they are holding hands in the sky. They won't be together again for another year. So, this is creating a year-long cycle. And I think that they're bringing this Aquarian energy in more of a personal space inside of each of us. So, I want to read to you some of the qualities of Aquarius. I've got a little clipboard up above my desk where I'm sitting here. So, Aquarius is the energy of the eccentric, the idealistic, the unconventional, the revolutionary. It's the energy of the collective. So notice yourself maybe wanting to gather together again in groups, or joining little groups. And I've got something for you. If you stick with me, I'm going to talk about that at the end of this live stream. It's also the energy of invention. It's futuristic. It's social. It's intellectual. So it's about taking care of the whole group, not just the person. Aquarian energy is what's good for everybody. It's saving the planet. It's saving the world. It's the whole world being made in a way kind of smaller. And how can we take care of everybody? So Pluto, this planet, operates on a bigger level, bringing mass change and maybe more of our whole world. I mean, it can be individual, but when we're talking about Venus and Mars, they are considered the personal planets, them along with Mercury. And so I think that we're having, Venus and Mars holding hands in Aquarius is bringing all those energies, that newness, that futuristic, a new way of doing things, beating to your own drum. Aquarius energy is also our hopes, wishes, and dreams. And maybe you're feeling like there's something that you're called to do. There's some mark that you want to make on the world, some change, some difference. Maybe you want to be an astrologer and you want to have a YouTube channel. Do it. Now is the time. This is the time to really bring out your creativity. And Venus and Mars are supporting you, right? Whatever that hope, wish, and dream is, and the way that you want to assert yourself, and the things that you want, your passion projects, the things that you just love and that you want to do, it's time to call them into yourself in a personal way. So that conjunction actually happened today. So they are the closest today, but they have been coming closer and closer together for the last week. And for the next week, they're going to be very close together in the sky. And you're going to feel this energy of this masculine and feminine kind of blend. Now, what you also might notice, the way that I've been thinking about this on a personal level, is like the way that we show masculine and feminine energy inside of ourselves, and maybe doing a little self-assessment, Virgo, at the full moon, um, assessing how we also have that interplay of masculine and feminine. In what ways do we need more masculine in our life? Do we wear our heart on our sleeve too much? Are we so compassionate we're caring for the whole world and not caring for ourselves? How do we need to maybe step it up a little bit? I think of Stevie Nicks' song, Leather and Lace. Where do we need a little more leather and to be a little more thick skinned? But then alternately, where do we need a little more of that lace? where have we been too harsh and we need to soften up a little bit. We need that femininity to come in. We need some pink in here, some expression, of the divine feminine. We need to go to goddess school. Where do we need more of that feminine energy in our life? And I really think that Venus and Mars coming together in the sky is bringing that question to us on a personal level, but also within our relationships. So I'm thinking about my husband in the ways that he can be masculine and feminine, and myself and our relationship together. Think about your relationships. Who is the more feminine? Who is the more masculine? And where do you need to kind of switch roles a little bit? While we're in Pisces season, that's the sun is in Pisces. The sun went in Pisces late last week. So we've been there almost a week now. It really is a time. Pisces is a water sign, and it's the fish swimming in opposite directions. So as we have this dance between Venus and Mars, how can we kind of incorporate that Pisces softness to help us to reblend in some kind of ways that masculine and feminine side of ourselves? So if you haven't figured out by now, when I do astrology, I like to make it practical. That's that Virgo in me. But I also am an optimist. I'm a Sag rising. So I like to find what is the best use of this energy. Just like we put on our raincoat to go outside in the rain and you can't see it here, we also need to get set up for the energy and use the energy the right way. And I think if you reflect on this, masculine and feminine in your life, it's going to help set you up on a more secure and kind of more direct forward motion kind of path for your whole next year. Embrace Aquarius, and go out and Google these things. So you hear somebody talking about it, you hear me talking about it, and you're like, what is Aquarius? What is, go out and Google any of these terms. You can find information about it out there. Look at what Aquarius and Pluto is bringing to you. If you know how to do your chart, look and see where your natal Pluto is. And that's going to tell you something. And the same with Venus and Mars. Go and see where your Venus and Mars are. Are they air signs? If they're an air or fire sign, your Venus and Mars is going to respond well to this, holding hands in the sky in an air sign. But alternately, if you have a water Venus or Mars, or you have an earth Venus or Mars, you may struggle a little bit and say, I don't want to change right now. I'm not, but the thing is, change is coming, right? Change is always coming. So you have to learn how to adapt and adjust. And I think that having Aquarius energy in these personal planets is helping us to really be a little more adaptable, be able to embrace that change is coming a little bit more. So, having said that, the other personal planet is up for review because tomorrow we have Mercury moving out of Aquarius. So, he's been thinking like an Aquarian for the past month or so, and he is going to be moving into the next sign, which is Pisces. So, Mercury in Pisces changes everything. That means Mercury is going to come closer to the sun because the sun is currently in Pisces. Well, guess what? We have Saturn in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces is given a little restriction there. If you know anything about Saturn or having had your Saturn return, then you know Saturn is a heavy hitter. It's where we find restriction and rules, and time catches up with us and responsibilities do too. And we get called to task. And, we are really at the principal's office being corrected and in trouble for all the things that we should have done that we didn't get done. Saturn can be a real taskmaster. He can be tough. And so Mercury and the sun now they're not close, but they're moving into a more somber space, being in the sign of Pisces, and they get quieter. So notice where maybe this week has been a busy, busy, busy week for you, and then all of a sudden things just start to quiet down a little bit. Or you don't have your voice like you did, which is also how I'm using the energy to record this. Now that we are still in an Aquarius Mercury, and mental energy is high and we're firing at all cylinders today on Thursday. Notice where the confusion, the dream space. Pisces energy can be kind of dreamy and drifty. And I think about those fish swimming, thoughts are everywhere. Now it's highly creative. I mean, Pisces energy, very intuitive, next level empath type of energy. So notice where downloads come in for you while we have Mercury in Pisces for about the next month. You are going to get downloads. So keep a dream journal next to your bed. You are going to be very intuitive, very sensitive to things, noticing, kind of having that sixth sense more than you did before. Mercury in Pisces is, a sponge. They're taking in everything, but it can cause them to grow a little bit quiet. And if you know someone who has a natal Mercury in Pisces, they are a quieter person. They kind of don't always speak up or speak their mind. So you may find that that's the case for you over the next few weeks. And so I have some notes about that I wanted to tell you about. So Mercury in Pisces may have a tendency to daydream or get lost in their thoughts. There's an imaginative quality that can be a source of inspiration, but may also make you a little absent minded. So make sure you got your keys and got your wallet before you leave the house, right? Mercury in Pisces is the best listener. These are the most compassionate listeners. You're going to be able to tune into the energy of the room. It's making us all a little more emotional. So water signs will be affected the most. So it is important to know our Mercury. So for instance, my Mercury is in Virgo, which is an earth sign, very compatible with a water sign. So it may give a little lift to my compassion and my emotional capacity for others. But for instance, a water sign Mercury might be the one really feeling the emotion strongly whenever Pisces, comes to town for them, and they may find themselves a little more emotional. So just being compassionate and being kind to others because they may need more support, more understanding. People may feel like they're not being heard, that nobody's listening to them. So while we have Mercury in Pisces, you may want to work on those listening and supportive skills. The other cool thing about Mercury in Pisces, I've already alluded to it, is that intuition and insightfulness and really getting those downloads. You may find that you have more of an interest in spiritual and mystical pursuits. It makes us a little more interested in the woo woo, which is good for me. Maybe you'll be interested and want to like and subscribe. And if you've stuck with me so far, please go hit that like button and share this with someone you know so that they get the energy report too. You may find yourself exploring the deeper meanings of things, wanting to get into the secrets of life and know what's happening. You may be drawn to more esoteric type of subjects, all the woo-woo stuff, which is what I do at Magical Life. So hopefully that helps you understand a little bit about Mercury and Pisces coming up. This big old full moon we've got coming this weekend, and you've got that Virgo energy coming in. So be kind to yourself and others. And then we have Mars and Venus holding hands in the sky. So get your chart, see what your natal stuff is, see if any of this blends with you, and be sure to reach out to me on one of the socials. I don't mind to help you to know, but I also have that video there on the channel that can help you to run your chart. I'll be back near the new moon, so be sure to tune in then. But also, before we go, I wanted to tell you about what I'm doing locally. So I have two things. I am teaching Astrology 101, which is a 4-part class. I usually do that on a Thursday evening, a Wednesday or Thursday evening, 4 Thursday evenings coming up, and it's all on Zoom, so you can do this from anywhere. And so here's the deal. I'm going to teach you about your natal chart. We are going to use everybody who's in class, so I only allow 10 participants in the class, and so it's a small group. And we will use our personal charts to learn all of the planets, okay? And we'll learn about all the signs, We're going to learn about all the planets. We're going to learn about all the houses and then the aspects in the center of the chart. And we're going to do some predictive work too. So I record all of these sessions and I will put them in a Dropbox folder for you, and you will have it forever. You will get a reading through the classes and learning about all of your different placements and what they mean. So that can be very helpful to understand your natal chart. And hopefully by the end, you will be able to read your natal chart and you'll be able to go out there and run natal charts for your family and friends and your children and start to understand how your energies work together. I really think that is the beauty of astrology, is really learning deeply about ourselves, but being able to see how we blend with others, and really having acceptance for the human condition. People just are who they are. And I am who I am, and you are who you are. And we can look at that chart and really start to understand that. So this is my little printout. It's called Bread and Butter Astrology. You'll find it on my website at Magical Life Astrology, and you can sign up for my newsletter to find out more about when I'm teaching this, which I'm going to do a part 2, which is going to be called Meat and Potatoes. So if you have taken 101, or you know a little and you need to go a little further, you're past the 101 stage, you'll be able to see the description of the 101 class at magicallifeastrology.com or jenniferbarish.com as well, magicallifeyoga.com. They all go to the same place if you want to learn astrology. And then here in the Cincinnati area, I have an in-person event. And so most of you that are part of my channel live nearby. You may have seen out on social media that I am doing a spring equinox celebration. So on March 14th, that's a Thursday night from 6:30 to 8, we are going to be ringing in the equinox season. I hope that you will come and celebrate with me. We are going to do ceremony. We are going to express gratitude and say thank you for this new season. It is the astrological new year. Aries season begins, and I'm going to give you a forecast for Aries season and for the springtime, as well as the eclipse that's coming in April. That's an important one. You'll want to know all about that. We are going to do a ceremony. We're going to have a little altar with candles and flowers and all kinds of springtimey things that make us feel good and refreshed and renewed. And you are going to get some stuff to take home. So I'm going to teach you how to do manifestation by the moon. And we're going to work at intention setting and how can we manifest things in our life. And then I'm going to give you some stuff to take home to do your own little ceremony when the actual eclipse is, or I'm sorry, the spring equinox is on the next Tuesday, so that you can do your own ceremony in your own privacy, in your own little space, wherever that is in your house. So it can get real special and quiet, and you can go, into your heart and think about, what do I really want to bring forward in my life over the next 3 months until summer. So that is what we are going to be doing, is celebrating spring equinox, and I would love to have you. You can sign up on Eventbrite. You can find that out there, and space is filling up though. We only have limited room for just a few people. It's going to be in Montgomery at the Heart Rooted Healing Center on Montgomery Road. All that information is out on my website. So thank you for joining me. Have a happy Virgo full moon. I hope you are super duper productive and get all the things done. Just remember to be nice to you and others and find moderation in all the things. So until next time, have yourself a magical life. Dip into that woo-woo. And if you have questions, reach out to me on social media. I would love to hear from you. And be sure to like and subscribe. Help me to share this and move beyond Cincinnati. I have big plans, and I need everyone's help to grow and bring magical life out as far as we can into the world. I think that we should all be using astrology to help make our lives better, and that is my goal and my wish. So if you can help me to share, I would be ever so grateful. So, in gratitude for you, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. If you're already subscribed to my channel or get my newsletters, thank you so much. And I hope to see you soon. Take care of you. Be good to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Sending you lots of love. Until next time. Mwah, mwah. Take care. Bye.